It's a nice photograph, a little grainy for my taste, almost looks posterized. Some of the black elements in the fountain in the water bother me. It looks like dust. It probably is specks of water, but specks of water should have been white. Um, Interesting, the light in the trees in the background. It almost has a metallic print quality, but I don't think it is. Very, very posterized feeling. Once again, it feels like it's a little too contrasty for me and a little posterized. Good composition. I like the diagonals in the bottom right created by the rocks, and then the verticals in the middle by the weeds, and otherwise the nice color blue is very peaceful with the deeper, richer blue in the bottom right quadrant. A metallic print. The clouds look beautiful. I love the quality and the texture in them, but the cliff in the foreground is a little distracting. It just feels too grainy to me. The other cliff looks more realistic. I like the fact that there's a little bit of the grass in the foreground to frame the picture, and it works really well. And then finally, the little people on top really give you a perspective of how big this cliff is. Good print quality. I love this photograph. The feathery quality of the waterfall because of the low shutter speed, very well done. The color, the deep rich color, red color of the tree in the top right, contrasting with the bottom left, and the granularity of the sand and the grayness and the brownness of it, and then the greenness of the water. It really gives you that emerald quality. The only problem that I had was the matting and the fact that it's not mounted and it's crooked. So I had to deduct 2 points. I gave it a 15 initially. Now I have to give it a 13 once I really scrutinize the print. This is a very nice picture of a lighthouse. I like the fact that it's way off center and not too evenly composed. The sky could have been accentuated or made a little more dramatic, and there could have been a little more detail on the bottom portion of the photograph to get some of that green out of the grass. It just feels a little flat to me. It could have been had a little more contrast. I give it a 9. And the fact is that the mat was really dirty, and that doesn't help the judging of it. It just feels off to me, like the shutter should be placed on the left side of the photograph so that the hinges would weigh to the left and your eye would go to the right. In a way, it creates a little bit of tension by doing what was done. So there's two ways of looking at it: tension and tradition. The quality of the print is well done. The mounting is very nice. I like the double edge, and it's straight. This is a photograph I would like on my wall. I find this very attractive, not only because I'm a city boy from New York, but because of the colors of that city and the different sculpture that was in the foreground. And what's even more interesting for me is the photographer photographing in the bottom right, which almost looks like a statue, photographing the other statue that's angled, and then the other photographer that's in the bottom left, photographing the other sculpture. I thought it was a photo safari that you guys were on, but it looks like it just might be tourists photographing it. Interesting. It gives it some something beyond the image and the color, and the printing quality and the colors are magnificent. Bravo. This is an interesting photograph. Needless to say, the clown obviously keeps my eye coming back to it. I may have cropped the bottom portion of the photograph, excluding the lit up cans. Maybe left the yellow pail in the right portion of the bottom. That's about the only thing that I could see wrong with it. In terms of print quality, I like the colors. I like the composition. I find it to be an interesting photograph. Obviously, it might have been my house. I have a lot of stuff in it like this. I like that kind of look. The thing that distracted me about this photograph was the damage in the mat and the top left right off the bat. Being a print composition, that subtracted a few points right there. It also has some sort of a posterization or high contrast quality to it, and otherwise there's nice color. I love the blue of the sky contrasting with the brown of the wood. Those two always are good elements to juxtapose, and the white of the siding, missing some of the links in there, some of the shutters or some of the shingles, whatever it is. I was initially attracted to this photograph very much because I like to frame things when I photograph them, and this was done well. I like the way it's framed. I like the frame itself, it having some texture and detail, and the way it was composed is beautiful. The quality of the print is beautiful as well. The blue sky contrasts well with the red of the building and the yellow of the surrounding frame. Once again, something that bothered me though is the mat. The bottom right part of the mat is damaged, so I had to subtract a few points for that. This is a nice print. It has a sepia quality even though it's color. It looks a little old, and there's like a hair or something in the bottom portion of the photograph that bothers me. Otherwise, I like the composition. Actually, it works well to have that other fourth person walking away in the background, not holding a fishing pole. I like the angles of the poles and the diagonal quality of the composition. This is a nice photograph giving me a feeling that the woman is all alone looking at these geysers. The quality could have been improved in the detail in the trees and maybe a little more contrast. It just feels a little flat to me, but compositionally it works. Very nice, dramatic, and beautiful moon. I just noticed a couple of branches coming in on the right side of the photograph. So maybe the print quality could have been improved, especially in detail in the mountains. Give me a little bit more of those white caps and a little more detail in that middle portion of the photograph, because basically half of the photograph is losing detail. Even in the city lights, I would have liked to see a little more detail. But the top part, I like the richness of the blue and the moon, especially with that cloud cutting through the middle of it. It makes it very interesting.